everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we are making this no-sew t-shirt into a market bag, or it can be, a diaper bag, it can be a book bag, it can be a carry-on bag, uh, just a purse, you can do an overnight bag, it can be anything you really want it to be. So we're turning a t-shirt, an old t-shirt, into a bag. So it's so much fun to make. No sewing required, so that's exciting because I'm a really bad sewer. So we can just make it using knotting. I'll show you all the supplies we need, and we're going to crochet around the edge, which looks so fantastic. And this technique, actually sewing around the edge like this, you can use it on a lot of items. You can use it on t-shirts, you can use it on the bags like this, you can use it on dresses, or pretty much anything, a towel, a blanket. I know a lot of people do blankets, which are very popular, which crocheting around the edge like this. You can make a scalloped edge. I just am doing a single crochet edge, but you can make it your own and make it super fabulous. So the supplies we need today are obviously a t-shirt. You can use, if you have a t-shirt that doesn't fit you anymore, but you never want to give it up because it's your favorite t-shirt, you can use it. You can save it forever and use it as a bag. I think this is such a great idea. Otherwise, get any type of t-shirt. I just got one at the thrift shop for 50 cents, but you can get an old one that you've had in your closet for so long that you're not wearing anymore. So I'm using a t-shirt, and then the other supplies we need are all here. You need a ruler. Just a 12-inch ruler is fine. You need a crochet hook. I am using an H size hook, which is 5 millimeters, but you can use any crochet hook size that you want. I wouldn't really go smaller than this, so maybe going up I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, just kidding, but you can use any type of hook that you want. A yarn needle is going to come in handy when we sew in our ends. Scissors is just going to be coming in handy when we cut the bottom of this piece up, and then we're going to also cut the collar and the sleeves off, so we're going to use our scissors for that. A Sharpie or a pen or a pencil just to mark some spots where you need to cut, just lines that you need to cut. A rotary cutter, now this is optional. This rotary cutter is optional to if you are going to crochet around your edge, and I'm using something called a skip stitch blade, and here is the information about my skip stitch blade. I'm using a 45 millimeter rotary cutter, and the skip stitch blade is for the 45 millimeter rotary cutter, and this is the information where you can get it. You can get it at skipstitch.com, or you can call this number and order yours. I'll put the link in the description of this video where you can get a skip stitch blade, because these come in handy for a lot of crochet projects, so make sure, and also be careful, keep out of reach of children. Read these instructions because it is very important, because this is very sharp. You do not want to cut yourself on a rotary cutter. So, and then you need scrap yarn. I'm just using Red Heart Super Saver scraps. This is size 4 medium worsted weight yarn. That's 10 ply. You can use any double knitting yarn. That's 8 ply. That's totally fine. Any scrap yarn that you may have lying around. And then I'm also using an extra piece of cardboard just so that I'm going to cut on it, because I don't want to scar up my tabletop. So you want to get a piece of plastic or a piece of wood or an extra piece of cardboard just for your cutting with your rotary cutter. So those are all the supplies you need. Before I get started in showing you how to make this bag, just check out those links in the description of this video. I say that in every video because I want you to get the link to the blog where you'll find out where to get more information about this project, how I did it, and more photos and all that good stuff. And the video tutorial will also be in there. Also, there's a link to my Facebook. Make sure you're joining me on Facebook. Join the community and share your photos on Facebook. If you make this, I mean, literally, this is such a fast project. You're literally just cutting a few things, tying a few things, and you have a bag. So make sure to share your photos on Facebook. I'd love to see your t-shirts and what you come up with your nice fancy graphic tees and all that good stuff. So make sure you're sharing your photos. Also share your photos on Instagram and hashtag YARNutopia so I can see your work. And make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll put my link in the description of this video. Also follow me on Snapchat. I'll be snapping interesting photos of behind the scenes clips of what we do here at YARNutopia headquarters. Also, subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Just click that red subscribe button so you can get the update on when we post our next video. I want to thank my dad, Fuad, Azmat, for taking the time out to make these videos with us. He is our videographer, editor, and photographer for all of our videos, so thank you so much. In today's video on my nails, I have OPI, but Steal My Heart. I don't have the actual nail polish tube, and I need a manicure, so don't look at my nails. Anyway, let's just get started in making this fabulous bag. I'm really in love with it. Alright, to start out, grab your t-shirt and make sure it's facing you, the front of it. And what we're going to do is first cut the collar area and the sleeves off. Okay, so what you need to do is grab your Sharpie, and you want to go, if you're having a graphic t-shirt, you want to go down to the start of the graphic. If your graphic is way down here, I mean, you can go as low as you want on this part here. So I'm going to just draw with my Sharpie. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just draw a line just how low you want your strap to be. So I'm just going to come right to here and kind of just go from each side, just like this. Okay, and kind of round out this edge and this edge. Okay, then we're going to draw around the sleeves where we need to cut. So we're just drawing our cut lines. So I'm just going to cut right along the edge of the sleeve, down to the armpit, like that. And then this sleeve over here, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, like I said, it does not have to be perfect because we are going to be cutting this piece. So now grab your scissors. I'm just using these nice ones that I got at the craft shop. You could turn this around, make sure you can, manipulate your fabric however you need to, just to get your fabric where you need it to be and cut it right. So just cut along the line. Obviously you want to cut all the Sharpie off so that it's not showing on your finished work. I'm just cutting the sleeve off here. Okay, super simple. And then you can throw that off to the side, and now we're going to cut this collar area. Just cutting along the line. You can cut, closer to the Sharpie area or a little bit away from it. Like I said, it does not have to be perfect. Okay, remember to turn your work so you're not cutting super awkwardly, and be super safe with scissors. If you're doing this with your kids as a project this summer or something, just make sure you're watching them and so they don't stab themselves or something crazy. So I'm just going to cut then the last sleeve off, and I'll meet you up when this is all cut off. Alright, so I'm just cleaning up some of my edges. Like I said, it does not have to be super perfect, but if you want to clean up some of your edges so that, there's not these like jaggedy edges here, and you can do that. Okay, but then once you have all your pieces, I have all my pieces cut off. There's my sleeves and my neck piece. I was thinking it would be kind of cool if your neck piece, if you cut it even lower, like this neck piece here, if you cut this even lower and had a bigger neck piece part, you could turn this piece into a bib for a baby. That'd be kind of cool. So just a thought if your neck piece goes a little bit lower, but mine is this low here. So now at this point, we want to turn our work inside out. So just go from the bottom, pull this through, and turn it inside out. And you can look at it from the back or the front. This part does not matter. So I'm just going to work it like this. And make sure your seams are all lined up on each side. Like that. Then I find it easier to put a piece of cardboard or a piece of wood or something, piece of plastic underneath the work that you're working on so you don't scar up your table. And then we are going to grab our ruler, and what we were going to do is we're going to start from one side and work our way to the other side. We're going to measure up about 3 inches. Okay, so right about here. And then we are going to put our ruler across our work like so. And then we are going to measure out every inch, okay, and just draw a line, just like that, okay? This part does not have to be perfect at all. This whole project doesn't have to be perfect. It is so simple. So just keep writing your lines at every inch all the way across, just like that, okay? And then we're going to grab our scissor and we're going to cut the edge here where this is folded down here. Okay, I'm going to cut right along this edge, this seam here. So you can cut just like this. Okay, all the way up to where the top of the line is. Okay, then we're going to cut each line. Let me make sure this is straight and even on each side. Okay, then you're going to cut up to each line, to the very top of each line. Just like that. Okay, so you're cutting little strips, little 1-inch strips right up just to the top of the line. Okay, just like that. So I'm just going to cut all the way across this piece where all my lines are, and then I'll meet you up at the end of this row and we'll go on to the next step together. When you come to the end here, you do want to cut this side by the seam just like we did at the beginning. So just cut along this seam here. I know we didn't draw a line over there, but just make sure that you do cut that so that these are free. So now this is what your work should look like. The bottom of your shirt should have all this fringe. So now what we're going to do is tie these in knots. And if you've seen those blankets, those fleece blankets that people tie in knots around the edge, this is exactly how we're going to do that. So we're going to take the bottom strip here and this top strip here, and we're going to make a knot. So we're going to go around and through the loop like that, and then we're going to cross them over and make another knot just like that. Okay, and then pull tight. Okay, and then hop to the next one. We're going to wrap it around, make one knot, wrap it around again, and make another knot. Just like that. For every single one of them. So what I do is just put my finger through, wrap it around my finger, go through that loop, pull, go again, cross it over. Just tying knots, just like that. We're going to do that all the way across, and then once we finish that, we're going to tie them again together. I'll show you a different technique, and I'll meet you up when I have all of these tied across just like this. Alright, at this point, this is what your work should look like. Now, do not try to stretch this out too much. You can stretch it out just a little bit, but you'll hear some tearing, and that's probably not a good thing. So just keep it kind of gathered. You'll see at the top here, it's kind of like going out like this, and down here, it's really bunched up, which is what we want. So now you can see that these bottom loops are all, or these bottom fringes are all lined up here. We are going to now tie these to each other. So each next one is going to be tied together. So, and you can do either the top row or the bottom row, really does not matter. So I'm going to take these two first ones and just tie them just like we did with the top and bottom ones. So like this, and then like this. Okay? And then go to these next two ones right here and right here, next to each other, just cross them over and tie them. And then cross over again and tie them. Okay, so there will be just a few of these, and we're just going to tie them all the way across just to each other, And once I get across there, then we can go on to the next step. So actually the next step is optional. So I'll meet you up when I tie all these ones that are next to each other. I'm going to tie them all together, and I'll meet you up when I finish that step. Alright, so I tied them all together. You can't really see where I tied them because there's just a bunch of knots here. Now, at this point, you can optionally tie the top row together as well. Just tie a bunch of knots just to reinforce this bottom, because if you're going to be using it as a market bag or a book bag or a diaper bag or something, you know, you want to have a really great reinforcement so that nothing falls through the bottom of your bag. So basically just tie a bunch of knots wherever they fit, you know, if it is difficult to see. But I'm just going to tie just a few more knots here, and then we can go on to the next step. Remember, it is okay that it is bunching up at the bottom here. That's kind of what we want. But if you do stretch it out a little bit, you know, you can kind of pull this apart, but you will see that little holes are going to be showing through between the knots. There's one, you know, there's one. So you just don't want to stretch it out too much, okay? So there's the bottom there. Now, this next part is optional. Here, we can turn this inside out and I can show you what it looks like. So this is what you have for your bag. If you don't want to crochet around this piece, this is what you should have. And there you have a nice market bag. So it's all bunched up at the bottom here. Super easy, no sewing required, and you have a nice graphic tee market bag. So that's kind of cool. So now going on to the next step though is follow along if you want to crochet around this piece. I'm going to turn this back inside out, so back to how it was, like this. And you need to line up your sleeves just like this. I'm going to put it on my cardboard, if you have a piece of plastic or a piece of wood or something, nice and flat, just so that you don't scar up your table. We're going to line up our area here, just like that. We're going to grab our rotary cutter, and I have the skip stitch blade already in there. Okay, so you can see my skip stitches there. So be careful when you're using this, but what we're going to do is we are going to go just about a ½ inch in to our work, and we are going to cut along this whole sleeve here, okay, or this whole, I guess, strap. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to press down and I'm just going to go across, okay. Remember what I said though, be very careful when using one of these tools because you don't want to mess up anything. So there I've made my holes, and you can see there that I've made the holes for my stitches. So now you can grab your crochet hook and your yarn, and what we're going to do now is work from the bottom, from the armpit area, but we're going to work turning this so we're working on the outside of our work, okay? And so we're looking like this, okay? And we're going to start in this hole here, right at the bottom there. You can really start in any hole you want, but just insert your hook, hook on your color here, pull that through, chain up 1, and then put a single crochet back into that same hole there. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then hop to the next hole that the skip stitch blade made right in there. Just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And you want to do this a little bit looser than normal. So if you are using the H size hook, you can use that, otherwise use a larger hook. I don't think I would go any smaller than this though. So go into the next hole there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Go into the next hole there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, and we're just going to single crochet all the way around this strap, all the way around the sleeve, and then we are going to do the same thing to the other sleeve and around the collar of the neck or the opening of our bag. So I'm just going to single crochet around this part of the sleeve, or the strap, I guess. It's now a strap. It was a sleeve of my t-shirt, so I don't really know what to call it anymore. But just single crochet around this piece, and I will meet you up when we're going to fasten off and go on to the next step. Alright, once you come back around, we just want to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet right here. Just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Pull tight. At this point, I'm just going to fasten off, so I'm just going to chain up one and cut my yarn. A really cool thing you could do, though, is go on to another round and make like scallops or shells and make it like super fancy if you wanted to do that. But now I'm just going to grab my yarn needle here and yarn my needle with the stragglers there and just sew it in then underneath the stitches on the inside of the bag, so it's hidden. Just go underneath the stitches and sew in your end, just like that. And then cut any extra and stretch it out. And then do that for this other straggler here. Just yarn your needle, sew in your ends underneath the stitches. Make sure it's on the inside of the bag though, so you're not sewing in your ends on the outside, and then you'll see that strap, I guess. It's just a cleaner look. So then if you want to, you can turn this right side out and see your work so far. So this is what it looks like. Okay, that's the strap so far. It looks really cool. You can actually do this for regular t-shirts, you know, like for the summer, if you wanted to cut off your sleeves and just crochet around the edge of your t-shirt, that'd be kind of cool. So, and you could wear that. So now I'm going to go on to the collar. Now the collar may not line up for you. It may line up for you, don't know. But see how I have mine, and this front part is lower than this back part. So what I'm going to actually do is put one piece of cardboard inside to kind of just do the front. Like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just so that you have from this point to this point on your cardboard or your plastic or your piece of wood, and then put one back there, just like that, okay? And then we're going to grab our rotary cutter, and we are going to cut around this piece. So I'm going to stand up for this point because I'm going to be turning. So just be careful. We're going to start here on this side of this seam right here, and we're just going to go over. So I know you probably won't be able to see much, but I'm just going to go about a ½ inch in, all the way around, and stop at that seam. Okay? Then I'm going to turn this around. Actually, I can leave this on here and just turn it around on the back of my board and kind of manipulate it like this. So the seams are on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it again just on the opposite side. So on this side of the work, I'm going to put my rotary cutter down about a ½ inch in, and we're just going to cut. Oops. Cut it ½ inch in, there we go. Careful of your fingers and just be safe. Okay, then you have your work. So you have all your holes cut just like this all the way around, so you can see that. So now we're just going to crochet around this piece just like we did for the sleeve, or the strap, I guess. I keep calling it sleeve, now it's a strap. So you can start wherever you'd like. I'm going to start way up here. You want to start with the outside of your work facing you. Okay, so now this is, the outside is facing us. So I'm going to start here, right up here at this hole. I'm going to hook on my color, and I'm going to pull that through. If I can, hook it on your hook, pull it through, there we go. And then I'm going to chain up one. And I'm going to show you a little different technique so that you don't have to sew in your end at the later part. You can crochet over the top of it. So insert your hook back into that same hole, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and pull through two. Okay, then jump to the next hole there, insert your hook. Now keep your straggler over the top of it and yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through two. So you see I was crocheting over the top of the straggler. Go into the next hole here, then yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through two. Okay, I'm crocheting over the top of this straggler so I don't have to sew it in later. So just single crochet in each hole that we just created with our rotary cutter, our skip stitch blade, just like that. Okay, that skip stitch blade comes in handy for a lot of things. For this, I thought that was a really cool idea that you could make, you know, this out of your, just on your t-shirts, you know, just and wear it. I think that'd be cool too. You can also do that with blankets, which I may show in a future video tutorial. Also, you can do it, I mean, with pretty much any type of fabric. I mean, t-shirt fabric, fleece, those are the most popular. So just single crochet around this whole collar area, which is now the edge of the bag. So I'm going to just single crochet just like that, and I'll meet you up when I'm finishing this round, and then we'll go on to making the other strap. Okay, when you come back around, just slip stitch to the beginning single crochet like we did for the first strap. Just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay, and then chain up one, cut your yarn. We're going to fasten off here, so just pull that through, pull tight, and now we only have to sew in this one strap, or one straggler, because we crocheted over the other one. So just yarn your needle, go on to the inside of your work, and go underneath the stitches, just like that. Okay, and then cut any extra, stretch it out so it's hidden, and there you go. So looking at it now, that looks so cool. So now we just have to do this side here, and we're just going to repeat exactly how we did it on this side. So if you want to turn it inside out, you can. Otherwise, you can do it from the outside, like I did the collar part. So I'm just going to lay this down here. Okay, grab my skip stitch blade, go about a 1/2 inch in, and just cut across there. So now I've made my holes there. Okay, and then I'm going to start at the bottom, the armpit area, insert my hook, grab my color, hook that on, pull that through, chain up one, and put a single crochet back into that same stitch, or that same hole there, just like that. And then I'm going to crochet over the top of my straggler, hop to the next hole, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through two. Hop to the next hole, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through two. Okay, we're just doing that all the way around with the right side of our work facing us. So the outside of our shirt is facing us, just like that. And we're just going to single crochet across, or around the strap. So I will meet you up when I'm about to fasten off, and we'll finish our bag together. Alright, once you come all the way around, just slip stitch to the beginning like we've been doing. Just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay, you can fasten off at this point, although, like I said earlier, you could make shells around this or make a fancy border. So that's totally up to you. If you are an experienced crocheter and know how to do that, you definitely can. So I'm just going to fasten off here. I'm sewing in my end. I want to tell you, make sure you're sewing in your ends as you go, just so you don't have to do them, at the very end of your project. It's such a headache. Although there's not very many ends on this one, so I guess it really wouldn't matter. But I just like to sew in my ends as I go. Stretch that out. And there you have it. Your market bag or whatever book bag, diaper bag is complete. So you can stretch this out. I know with having items in it, it will stretch out anyway. But you can stretch it out, make it all nice and fancy. There it is. So thank you so much for watching and learning how to make this awesome repurpose piece. This is so awesome and fun. You can recycle those old t-shirts so you don't have to get rid of them. You can save your favorite tee forever. So make sure you're checking out those links in the description of this video, right at the bottom of the blog, or right at the bottom of this post here. There's a link to my blog where you can get the information, how step by step. I have photos in there and my experience with making this. Also, there's a link to my Facebook. If you make this, if you have an old t-shirt and want to make something like this, make sure you're sharing photos on our Facebook and join the community. Like my page on Facebook. Also, check out the link to the Instagram. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, liking my photos, and if you make this on Instagram and post a photo on Instagram, be sure to hashtag YARNutopia so that I can see your work and see your fabulous t-shirts that you're making. So that looks so awesome. Turned out so fabulous. Also, check out Snapchat. I'm snapping everything, so make sure you follow me there. My username is YARNutopia. Also, subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Just click that red subscribe button. And I want to thank my dad, Fuad, Azmat, for taking the time out to make these videos with me. He is our videographer, editor, and photographer for all of our videos. So thank you so much. So happy hooking, everyone!